Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Disruption Technology and Law blog. My name is Sean, and today I'm just going to try and give you like a brief overview of what this course, Disruption Technology and Law, is really all about. And to do that, I first need to talk to you about what exactly is disruption for those of you that don't know. And I'll try and put that in like the simplest of terms for you. Think about all the technologies today that have come out just recently in the past few years that have really changed our daily lives in general. Think about Netflix and how it completely bankrupted Blockbuster. Think about the Kindle and how what that did to Borders and what it forced Barnes and Noble to have to like survive in society today. Think about today Uber and what that's doing to the taxi industry and even the limousine industry, and just think about in the future what future technologies will do to today's industries in general. It's going to essentially disrupt them, which is where this idea of disruption comes from. And it's a really, really important topic that more and more people should be aware of today. So that is essentially the basis of why Professor Shannon, our teacher, decided to create this course so that students like me and my generation could be better prepared to go into a world that's being constantly disrupted with new technologies. So that's essentially the basis for the class. I wanted to do just really quickly do a brief overview of like what we've done in the class so far to give you all sort of an idea. So week one, Professor Shannon came to a few of us, even before the first class, actually, before the semester even started. He came to a few of us and asked us to research some different platforms that we'd never even really heard of before. One of them being Slack, which is what you see here. Another one being Trello, which is what you see here. And a couple of the other ones being Google Hangouts, which if you have just a Gmail account or Google Plus account, it's essentially what Skype is, and then Google Drive in general, which is basically cloud storage. You can save documents and pictures to Google Drive. So he essentially wanted us to learn about these platforms and be able to teach some of our classmates about what these platforms do and how to use them. So essentially, Slack here is kind of like Group. It's kind of like GroupMe, but I think the best way to describe it is just a better replacement for email. I think Slack is more efficient and quicker to get messages across. There's also an app on the phone. You can upload documents, you can share photos, you can do pretty much anything you can do in an email. But it's kind of just like it's kind of like texting. It's a little bit faster than an email, and you can get it to them quickly. So that was part of what we did in week one. The other part of what we did in week one was Professor Shannon posted these three videos for us to watch and sort of like have like reactions to, and we gave our thoughts and stuff down here. Um, Essentially, the first video is basically disruption explained by one of the founders of the disruption like innovation theory. This one here is talks to us about our use of technology, and it's really cool. It's a really unique way to present it. And then this one is just kind of like a vision of students today, is the title, and sort of what our generation goes through today and how that will essentially change as disruption uh, becomes more relevant in society today. So that was week one. Week two, Professor Shannon came to us and said he wants us to have like a final project that we work on throughout the year. So essentially, what we did was we broke up into groups here. As you can see on the left side of the screen, you have education, there's media and TV, there's music, which is the one I'm in. There's also retail and healthcare. Um, so essentially, what we're doing is we're researching all these industries and kind of sort of like how disruption has impacted these industries. Like um, disruption has absolutely devastated the music industry with music streaming and just all sorts of downloadable material the music industry just never really had a chance and saw this coming. So what we're doing with Trello is it's kind of like like a list of what you can do, what you can do. You can just create lists of stuff and other members of the group can see and add to it and edit it. It's a really cool platform, really interesting and handy to use. So we're kind of using that along with this to conduct our research and for and like kind of like collaborate together. And essentially, we're going to make one like final video product about like our research and about disruption and all the industries that we've done in general. So it should be really interesting. I encourage you guys to continue to follow our blog and some of the stuff that we're posting about our topics to just kind of see how it goes along. So that's week 2. Week 3, really quickly, Professor Shannon posted these 2 videos. This one right here is a General Electric commercial that you can it's actually on TV. And then this one, it's a TED Talk about Socratic practices, disruptive technology. And essentially, the basis behind these two videos is when you have an idea, it becomes very hard to sort of implement that idea. The idea is going to face a lot of adversity, just because our society in general is opposed to change, and anything that's going to sort of like rock the status quo is going to be cast down in society. So think about what all these new technologies. Think about the adversity that Facebook had to kind of like go through at the beginning. People aren't going to want to do something that seems foreign to them. Like you have to really like try new things in order for them to like be accepted. So that was essentially what we did week 3. We talked about these ideas and how change and disruption sort of works, and we kind of carried that over into week 4 as well. We had another TED Talk here. I'm going to try and post these videos to the blog themselves because they're really interesting, really worth watching. They'll really kind of spark kind of like a debate and really make you think. This one talks about like the effects of what happens when these new technologies are introduced to our society and just the chain reaction, the domino effect they kind of have once they're introduced. Like our society has never been the same since social media came about, and just one social media site, Facebook, essentially led to hundreds of other websites that are being used. We rely so much on social media nowadays, and that's just one idea. There's just so many things that disruptive technologies have done to our society in general that have just forever changed the way we live. So it's a really interesting thing to think about. So then we went to week 5, where Professor Shannon had us do these SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, sort of about disruption in general. It's really interesting. I'll see if I can also get one of these or some of these posted. Maybe each group will post their individual SWOT analysis. But it is definitely a thing you kind of have to do in terms of disruption. You have to know what your strengths about managing disruption are. You got to know what your weaknesses are heading into disruption, the opportunities, and obviously disruption is a huge threat in itself. But like me coming out of college, going into an industry that may not even exist like 5 or 10 years from now. I may have a job today may not exist in 5 or 10 years from now because technology will find a way to disrupt it, and essentially the computer can probably do a lot of jobs within 5 to 10 years from now. So that's a threat that you have to consider when it comes to disruption, and you have to be essentially irreplaceable in terms of like technology. So that's essentially what we talked about for week 5. Week 6, this is where we sort of dove into the law side of technology. There wasn't a lot to discuss here just because Professor Shannon was lecturing us about property law, trademarks, patents, and that sort of thing. Um, it's just to kind of like get a basic feel of what like what disruption has in terms of law and technological law. And that's sort of what he did last week. And then we have this week, which he's posted another topic for us to sort of like talk about and give our reactions about. So I won't go too much into detail about that. We're also going to talk about like antitrust law this week as well. So this is essentially disruption, technology, and law explained in general. I encourage you to continue to follow along with our blog and read the articles that we're going to post about our projects, and essentially just we want you to stay informed. So because this is obviously a very important topic today that not a lot of people are aware about what disruption is. So thank you for watching, and I hope you continue to follow us for